o'clock. Today is Monday, April 15th, and we will, the Grant County Board of Commissioners meeting is officially in session. To my left is Commissioner Wright. To my right is Commissioner Bardsley. We will start the meetings with Ritter, and Commissioner Wright will lead us to pledge of allegiance.
Gracious God, Heavenly Father, as we take these moments, we thank you for life and breath, for all that you have given to us, for your grace and your mercy. Lord, we think about the conflicts that are going on worldwide. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem as instructed in the Word. Pray for your people, for those in conflict on many different continents. Father, we ask for peace that can only come from you. Thank you for that help and for today and the work that we're doing on behalf of you. Grant us wisdom in your direction. We'll thank you and praise you. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Face the flag. Face the flag. The United States of America. And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, we will move into approval of current claims, minutes, and payroll. We have a pre-approval given for claims. General was $263,764.80. Other, $113,911.17. Highway was $460,641.72 for a grand total of $838,317.69. Gentlemen, I pre-approved that, so I'm just looking for a ratification of that.
To ratify the pre-approval as presented.
Second. We have a motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. We are looking for an approval on claims. General was $454,116.56. Other is $76,922.23. Highway Department, $2,605.81 for a total of $533,644.60. I will entertain a motion to approve that.
I move to approve today's which that reports as presented. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bardsley, second by Commissioner Wright. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. So we have a pre-approval, Madam Auditor, Howard.
Yeah, it was for the purchase for EMS.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. And so we just need to approve that, correct? Yep. So we have a pre-approval for claims that was dated on April 3rd of 2024, $17,318 paid to Maximum Power Sports. And I'll refer to for ratification. That was for the ambulance.
The Gator.
Gator, that's why I'm saying that. Mr. President, I would make a motion that we go ahead and ratify that because they was very correct.
Yes, sir.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bardsley. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. It's approved. We will move on to payroll. Payroll number 8. Pre-approval was given on April 10th, 2024, pay dated April 12th, 2024. Gross amount $633,903.68.
Mr. President, I would move that we go ahead and ratify.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Barnsley. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Gentlemen, I believe that we have all reviewed the minutes for February 20th, 2024. And I will entertain a motion to approve this, please.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve February 20th, 2024 regular session of the county commission.
Second.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Barnsley to approve regular session minutes dated February 20th, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. And gentlemen, in your packets, you have monthly reports for weights and measures, 11/16/23 to 12/15/23, 12/16/23 to 1/15/24, 1/16/24 to 12/15/24, and 2/16/24 to 3/14/24. Any questions, concerns, or discussion about that?
See the reports as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Barnsley to receive the reports, second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We'll move on to communication and board updates, elected officials, boards, special committees. Mrs. Jarvis, anything?
Nothing to report at this time.
Seeing the crowd here. Mr. Hicks, anything you want to? I want to do it later. Okay, gotcha. All right. In your package, you have a request from the American Legion, those all four of them. Okay. So they're requesting their annual Memorial Day request for the flags. You have a line item in the general budget. There is $2,000 there. The request is for 22. Jen would like to do that. So before us, so our line item, we have 2,002 for this request. They're asking for 2,200. I would like to recommend find 200 somewhere. Just to do that, approve the roll out that they're requesting.
Matter of transfer. The other item is that we do this on an annual basis, so I guess maybe we should just check with them and see if they believe that that's going to be an annual request at 2,200 instead of the 2,000, so we just budget it correctly. But I would move the request.
I'll do that. Caveat of advisory 2024.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Barnsley to approve the entire requested amount of 2,200 for the purchase of Ready Marker flags for 2024, with a second by Commissioner Wright. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Thank you. Okay. We will move on to IT report. Marcus.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Yep, so I got two items with me. The first one is they call it a pay schedule for our AT&T internet bill. So once every 3 years, they make us update that to a newer agreement. And it looks like our bills are actually going to be a little cheaper. And they also included a proposal for the EMS office building. We tried working with Granite, that was the company who's helping us migrate all the other internet circuits over, but they wasn't able to do it. AT&T says they can, and they waived all of the construction fees for that. So they put that in here for our consideration, but us signing this contract does not obligate us to that proposed. So with your gentlemen's permission, I'd like to get this signed and have the attorney look it over and make sure it's all good.
If we so desire, and it sounds like we're actually saving money off the previous agreement, I would recommend the approval. Finishing approval of the president, right? Is that commissioner's signature or
It's just commissioner signature.
would not? I would move that we approve the new agreement with AT&T as presented, and that we would have our attorney review it, make sure that it's acceptable. With his approval, then allow our president to sign on behalf of commissioners.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Bartley, second by Commissioner Wright. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
All right, so the next item was related to I think it was a couple of meetings ago, we discussed social media archiving. So I went back to the drawing board and I tried getting a few different quotes from a few different companies, and I managed to get one other one. Tried working with a company called Hootsuite, and they never got back with me, so I just have 2 quotes for the social media archiving. So after looking at both of them, it's not exactly an apples to apples comparison. So it just basically be figuring out what exactly we want from the service. With the Civic Plus and their platform, they have their social media archiving bundled with called Next Request, and that's basically a platform that allows us to manage information requests and things like that. So that way, if the county would ever get sued or anything like that, you would be able to have that system that keeps an audit trail of those information requests and stuff like that. So it comes bundled with that, plus the social media archiving, and that's for unlimited. Now, the other company I had is called Page Freezer, and they don't do any of the FOIA information request stuff. They do have a portal for social media requests and things like that in their software, but they don't do any of the other stuff that Civic Plus does. So with that in mind, the Page Freezer for their social media archiving platform, it was $4,463 annually.
You said that number again.
Yeah, it's $4,463 annually. And Civic Plus for their platform, it was the $14,885.
Both do the same thing.
Not exactly. So they both do social media archive requesting. It's just that the Civic Plus platform has an Next Request with it. And that's a system that allows us to manage FOIA requests and things like that. So that way, like if somebody wants stuff, we could distribute that to them digitally. And it also gives us a platform where we can approve requests on the inside of it. We can track things internally. So like if somebody gives us an information request. Justin can go through, he can upload his documents and stuff to it as required of him, then it would come to us and IT next. So like if they were wanting any emails or social media requests.
Is that service worth $10,000 in your opinion?
To me, yes, it is. But I mean, that's up to you, gentlemen. I'm comfortable with either platform.
You have it, you have the money in your budget.
Yeah, economic contracts.
I like the $4,000. I can bring in 4,000 better, but if our IT guy is saying he needs the other one.
My assumption, and you tell me if I'm assuming way out of bounds. Sure. My assumption is with this Civic Plus Next Request company, that they have filters that you can get specifically what people are requesting instead of
Yes,
trying to work shotgun,
yeah, it's,
much like we've experienced with a couple of requests.
yeah, I know it's a couple of weeks, I think you may have had, I think it was one of the commissioners sat in on it, I think maybe you, Steve, and, like, you can go in there and if there's information on documents we need to back, we can do that in the software. It also allows us to import emails from our email system, so that way we can, clean those up and make them more legible. So that to me seemed like that was a considerable amount, just in the time savings.
I know it's 10,000 more, and I actually would like to dialogue with you guys about that a little. Actually,
Yeah, I agree.
but I understand the cost of that. Let's see if, because we're still working on policy on that as well, I think.
Yes, if you guys want to hold on. Okay.
We'll have the answer for you at the next meeting.
Sounds good. Thanks again, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Yeah, no problem.
Mr. White's already making his way to the podium. He must have some exciting stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
Update you on a few projects. We did start paving today on 33rd at Central Avenue, so we're starting on our paving program this year. We're replacing big culvert pipe out on 1100 east between 900 and 1000 south, starting this week, so we're working on that. Next thing I have. Sure. And I believe most of you are aware that we was awarded $1,483,961.20 for the community crossing grant. So we have to match that, but almost $3 million. We will be spending that this summer on projects. Hopefully we get it done this year. So it's a good bonus for us. So, appreciate the state allowing us to keep on. And I did talk to the gentleman today about, if we'll go ahead and move forward, we have a resolution, sign off on the document, something for the project. I called the gentleman at the state this morning just to make sure that there wouldn't be a problem with changing the DocuSign right now. That'd be fine. He said a lot of communities haven't even started on it, so I knew Kyle give you an updated version. Basically, it's instead of saying the president of the commissioners will sign off, so they decide highway superintendent will sign off with your approval. So that's where I was after that. No, like I said.
Jackson's at home.
Kevin?
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, I would move to pass resolution number 7 dash 2022.
We'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Wright, second by Mr. Barsley for resolution number 7-2024, authorizing execution of NDOT agreements. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
And once you get that signed, I'll do it, that'll set up. Along the lines of the community crossing grant, I would like to, if I can get everything advertised and everything, I'd like to set May 20th for the bids for those 3 different projects, if that's all right with you. Get it advertised. If I can get that done and like to get it at least on the schedule for this year if possible.
So would we be advertising the bids will come in on May the 20th?
Right. Yeah, we'll be open that day and then we'll take it back for review. We're probably at the next week. That's all right.
Which is certainly.
And then, and one other thing, I apologize, I think I don't made this. We have a break room slash room that we meet at every morning, kind of get the day started. And what we'd like to do is remove a wall, make it one big area. This wall, back side of that one. Moving this wall. Open it all up.
Oh, okay.
So we basically together. So I got some prices on removing that wall and our facility and the walls, the interior walls and all the offices and the front foyer and the hallway that need to get repainted. So I got a quote on that too. For the paint job, painting concepts, I guess this is a gentleman in the courthouse in the complex. His price was $3,200. And then for removing the wall, I have a company called R.W. Harrison Enterprises Incorporated. That price is $3,500.
You have funds in that or?
I guess I was asking maybe if you help pay for part of it or I'll pay for half of it or something. I'll pay for one and he's basically
It's a
just.
structural, so we should be doing.
Three tasks. That's going to give you more room to have. Is it because the amount of employees that you're trying to get around the
And a
table?
lot of times if we have training, we like to put everybody together, have the TV, computer system all in one place. So that's what we're trying to do. Get them all in there.
West.
Be, building maintenance.
Probably, yeah, or their structure.
What we ought to do. We should be doing it.
Yeah, like we're
I just thought I'd see.
That'll pay half.
He doesn't have a
I
commissary.
didn't think it's hard. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I would move to approve the renovation as presented. The commissioners will take it out of our budget.
Motion by Commissioner Barsley, second by Commissioner Wright Any other questions or discussions? All those in favor say aye.
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 And the last thing I bring up is I'm still planning on have a United next May 6th meeting for bridge inspection update. Still on schedule.
So I'll be on May 6th.
Yeah. It should only take 5 or 10. All I have is you have any.
Okay. You got cameras? I think we need to talk to you about a potential job with them bringing you forward, so.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your community.
Yeah. Sounds really nice.
You've done
Yeah.
it.
That's, I guess one thing I would like to say is, I'd like to thank the consulting firms that helped me apply for that. And then Tony Smith, my assistant, he does a heck of a job helping me out, fill the application out and everything. So, yeah, we're dealing with 92 counties plus the cities and towns, but there was like, I think I counted 57 communities that got over $1.5 million, so, or they all met their threshold. I know the city of Marion got it, Sketch City got some, Gas City got some, Sweetser got some. It's good plan for everybody.
Our thanks to Mr. Smith for his help at that.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, we have no old business. Tiffany Griffith, our treasurer, is already at the podium.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you guys? this morning?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. I am here alongside Lisa Worthington from Career Services and Stephanie Walchall from Vocational Rehab to talk with you guys about an internship program that I believe to be highly beneficial, not only for my office to take part in, but for other additional county offices to jump on board with. This program, in my opinion, will help at building relationships within our community, but also provide additional help in areas where maybe our budget lines may be too tight to allow the help. Each year, my small office, a staff of 4, we are fully staffed, is tasked with billing and collecting all property taxes for Grant County. The parcel count for Grant County is over 44,000 parcels, which is an overwhelming undertaking. Therefore, the treasurer's office typically has to look for seasonal help to get us through those collection cycles for both spring and fall. And that's to help, the seasonal help comes in to help us with processing our highly increased mail payments. This gives our office time to man the counters, answer the never-ending phone calls, and process mortgage payments along with all of our other office responsibilities that are required day to day. Last year, we were introduced to Lisa through Career Services, where we met and worked alongside Amanda Turner. Without Career Services jumping in to offer their help and services, we would have not been able to operate with additional staff, as trying to find additional help is almost impossible since COVID. Amanda was such a positive impact in helping our office through spring deadline. Her excitement each day was palpable within the office, which led to a more energetic atmosphere. Her attentiveness to details and efficiency to complete her task day to day was immensely valuable in helping us to reach our deadline for settlement earlier than we anticipated. And that was just in the few weeks she spent with us during our spring collection cycle. So when Lisa and Stephanie reached out to me about a new internship initiative with Career Services and Voc Rehab, I was extremely interested. My request today is that you hear from Lisa and Stephanie about this program and that you will be willing to grant an internship for Amanda under the guidelines and regulations that Grant County needs to meet, as well as being able to help promote this amazing initiative within the other departments within the county. Finding help in our offices has been extremely difficult since COVID. Budgets are extremely thin and the ability to provide full-time positions is difficult to come by, even when our offices desperately need them. An internship can help provide experience for those who are looking for skills building, and it helps to alleviate the crucial needs for our departments without breaking our budgets. So now I would love for you guys to meet Lisa and Stephanie and hear from them on this program.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Walchall. I am the area supervisor for the Vocational Rehabilitation Office, and it's located out on Miller Avenue here in Marion. So we are a state and federal agency. I am actually an employee of the state of Indiana. And what our services provide is we help individuals with employment, but it's individuals that have disabilities, whether it be cognitive or physical or mental health disabilities, to be able to remove barriers to employment. Part of what we do with that is we work with different providers, Carry Services being one of our providers, in finding work experiences for individuals so that they can build their resumes, develop skills, and be able to then have marketable skills to be able to have long-term employment. The whole goal of our program is long-term employment. And sometimes that may be in training, sometimes it's just really figuring out what kind of jobs that they're would be good at or that would fit their interests. So we partnered up, she spoke about it, Amanda, and partnered up with getting her the opportunity to come in and develop some office skills. And this is one area that she has really wanted to be employed in. She really did not have the skills or the resume or the items to put on a resume in order to get that kind of employment. So we were looking to try to partner up. Amanda is not the only client that we work with that could use places to go, develop skills, learn different jobs. A lot of times the problem with getting a job is just having that nothing on that resume, and they're like, well, we're not going to hire you, you don't have experience. We do a lot of work assessments and have people come in and do those work experiences that may last several weeks, may last a couple of months. And sometimes they'll do being a paid position. Sometimes they'll come and do it non-paid just to be able to get that experience to put on the resume. We have had a new program that we are doing where Voc Rehab is actually able to come in and step in and pay some of that, but we need employers and we need places where individuals can work to earn that pay. So it kind of seems like it might be a win-win situation for all involved. So I brought some brochures if you would like them, and I'll go ahead and please escalate.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to come and speak with you this morning. And I just wanted to personally thank Tiffany so much for the partnership that we've established with her office and with her. I know this has been a life-changing opportunity for Amanda. If she was here with me today, I know that would be her sentiment. She would share how much she enjoyed being at the treasurer's office. It was a wonderful opportunity for her to have a chance to demonstrate her skills that she learned in college. She went to Ivy Tech, and so she has a degree in business administration, office administration, and so it was a nice partnership and complementary for her to be able to have that opportunity. My role, I work for Carry Services, so we are a provider for employment services for Voc Rehab. So my role is I'm kind of the supporter and the encourager for the individual, and I'm there to assist and come alongside that person with if they need supports or assistance as they're navigating through a work experience or an internship. Then also is to be a liaison for the employer as well as with Voc Rehab. So I am there, either myself or our other staff. We're a staff of 2 employment specialists and 2 job coaches. And so we're there and available to be on site with the individual during that time. I've also brought some brochures with me. I've also brought a copy of our certificate of liability that Carry Services would cover the liability coverage for the individual on site during any type of work, internship or work experience. So I guess I can go ahead. I think I brought 3 brochures, so I'll go ahead and pass it on to you, and you can take a look. And I guess we'll just open for questions that you may have that we could answer for you.
Tiffany, has Kyle had a chance to review the internship agreement? Is this like Kyle drafted that?
Yeah.
This is a standard.
Yes, and it basically relieves us from any liability, and there's some confidentiality, disclosure agreements in there.
Okay. I didn't know if this was kind of like a standard form that he put together, if he still needed to review this. So. Any questions for these ladies, gentlemen, or?
It sounds like a win. win-win.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like we're getting help, you're getting help, and we're helping the individual. So it's pretty much a win-win-win.
I think we have in different departments done the intern programs in different fashion, and so putting it in black and white for us, I think that's positive. Again, as you've already said, a win around the table, so I would be in favor.
Make that in the form of a motion.
I would move to approve the unpaid internship agreement as presented and begin to build our relationship with Carry Services and which office out there?
Vocational rehabilitation.
Vocational rehabilitation, thank you.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Barsley, second by Commissioner Wright to approve the unpaid internship agreement. There's no other questions or discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Approved.
Thank you so very much,
Just
gentlemen.
one more thing, we're working on a company right now that is going to need services such as this as well. I think we're having a meeting, later on this week, for Carry Services. So, your timing's apropos. When it comes to what we're trying to do with this one company, so hopefully we'll put something together for everybody. Win-win situation.
Yes.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Moving on, Convention and Visitor Bureau appointments. Mrs. Bender.
Hello, I'm Nancy Bender. I am representing the Grant County Visitors Bureau as a past president. We recently had 2 vacancies that were commissioner appointments. David Moore from Judy Designs and Sharon Wilson from Hostess House have rolled off our board. So our nominating committee has had 2 citizen show interest in these positions, and we're looking for permission to bring those 2 on. One is Shane Lodbach, who represents the Hostess House, and the second is Steve Wright, who has been very active in our community. So we're looking to get those permissions to appoint those.
Those would be commissioner appointments.
Could be as commissioner appointments, yeah. We have 2 on the board, and those of them just have to be rolled off.
Ms. Bender asked me about this early on, the way you on the schedule. I'd ask, is it ever when a commissioner actually sit on the Visitors Bureau?
Not that I know of.
But that, well, everybody understands what their position is and how they're funded. So they're funded out of room tax.
Yeah, the hospitality institute.
And a lot of times out in the community, there's just a lot of questions about how those funds are being spent and what they're doing and stuff like that. And so I thought having a little bit of a commission role in there might be a good thing where in the circles of influence that we're out into, we can actually kind of speak very highly of this.
Just to kind of briefly explain what we do is our whole being, and every county has a visitors bureau, is to bring, it's not to bring money within our citizens, but to bring money within the county. Festivals, we've done different projects that will bring money into the county. So that's our whole goal, is to bring outside spending into Grant County.
So heads and beds are very important for them.
Right, and the hotels, they all pay that nasty tax you have to pay when you go to stay in a hotel, that innkeeper tax, well, that's what funds all these business convention bureaus.
You certainly don't have a lot on your plate.
Man, you got that. This has always been something that I do believe that it's a vital part of our community. And, like I said, I don't know if everybody understands the importance of it, but it's huge. And, publications and advertising and things like that need to take place.
great to have someone with your experience. The reason I say that is Haley Anderson, who's our executive director, we recruited her from Columbus, Indiana. I think I remember Karen Iverson, who used to be the executive director. She actually was working for Karen, and I had the opportunity to meet her. Just we had a bookkeeping vacancy, so she has worked the last couple of years, technically as a bookkeeper, but her background was working with the business committee, doing all the advertising and everything. So when John Lytle decided last year that he was going to retire, then Haley was a perfect person to step into it. We are currently looking for a part-time bookkeeper for that position. To replace Haley's position, but Steve would be an asset. Shane would be an asset, because we do a lot with the Hostess House. That's one of the restaurants that we try to get people to visit, because of the history of it.
So just one other comment, then when we were bringing out of General Motors, when we were bringing over 200 people into the county, coming up from another plant. We worked with the Convention Visitors Bureau. We set up bus tours to show them our community. We don't want to move to Colorado. We don't want to move to Fort Wayne. We want them here in Grant County. And Convention Visitors Bureau took an active role in that. We worked with the city bus service. The city actually drove us around, and we toured 200 people. In fact, my neighbor is one of those people who actually went through the neighborhood and said, "This is where I want to live." He's my neighbor. So that's what we need to do. We need to continue to drive that, and what other businesses will be coming. We might be able to share some of those ideas with the Convention Visitors Bureau. So that's the reason I had some interest in it. I think it's a vital thing for us.
So those are two recommendations.
Mr. President, I would move to approve the appointment for a 2-year term of Shannon Lawback and Steve Wright to the Grant County Visitor Bureau.
I have a motion by Commissioner Barsley to approve the 2 appointments for the Grant County Convention Recreation and Visitors Commission. I will second Commissioner Barsley's motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those that are abstaining? Aye. You're good. It's approved. Thank you.
Commissioner Bartley, in the letter, it refers to appointment forms. Are you coordinating for this type of appointment?
There are, I think with our public libraries, we have a standard list that we utilize. I'm not sure that we actually have any other standard form. It's usually in the form of a letter. I think that we acknowledge the appointment as long as it's signed and dated.
A recommendation from the body who is looking for the people.
I mean, if we want to keep our attorneys busy, we can always have them do a secondary form.
I think they're busy enough. Tower inspection proposal, Mr. Hicks.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to take just a moment to thank my dispatchers for all their hard work. This week is National Telecommunicator Week. I have 21 full-time, part-time employees who man the dispatch center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, rain, sleet, snow or hail, sun or clouds. They're in the basement working on things. So I want to take a moment to thank all of them for all their hard work. Everything they do for public safety. Grant County's first responders. So
What would you say this week was?
it's National Telecommunicator Week.
Thank you.
And then the tower inspection proposal. Last year I was up asking for permission to do this, and we worked with MPX Solutions out of Madison County. However, we never did get a contract that was favorable to our attorney, so I ceased all communication with them. We're still needing to get the tower work done, so I have reached out to Tower Works Incorporated out of Maple Park, Illinois, to come and do the inspections. Obviously, I've been pending approval of the contract by our attorney. This cost would be $9,480. and that does include the 3 towers and 2 nights per diem for 3 men to come and do that. And this is something that I cannot be proud of any of my sons.
So the inspections, are just inspections, there's no physical work that they will be performing.
That's my understanding. Yeah, I mean, if there are issues, obviously, I believe that they would reach out and then we could take corrective measures if needed.
And when it comes to the tower inspections, will they be going up the tower?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. By that. I was just looking at the cost and thinking, all they're going to do is go into huts.
No, the HUDs are the equipment in the HUDs are covered by J&J Communications, which we do have agreement with. This would be the nuts and bolts on the tower itself.
Yeah, which is very needed. I mean, good.
I'm trying to think where we can afford to do this. Do you recall if we have any CCD contractual money left?
I don't know off the top of my head. Is there even a contractual in CCD?
Not that I can
I don't
remember.
think so.
I
It
don't
used to
think
be, it was one of the top lines.
so. I don't have that budget information.
I mean, it's getting warmer, and it's not in the threat of ice. We pushed this off a couple of weeks to make sure that we have the funds. I mean, there was a stretch with CCD.
Yeah.
You'll get with that. You want to make sure we have a budget.
Or then we draw from maintenance, because that's part of the structure we gotta take care of.
I think it would probably be best suited for preventative maintenance.
Are we taxed there right now?
We have.
We have the funds.
We have some.
Then no reason to wait. No.
Chair, ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
President would move that we pass or approve the Tower Works Incorporated estimate of $9,480 to review our tower sites.
Just processing. His statement there about estimate, are we confident of that, or?
I can reach out to them and see, it may be just an estimate based on the inspection that they turn us at.
My inclination at this point would be to say not to
Not to
exceed
exceed.
$9,480.
I will make it heavy on it in my motion.
Okay,
Not to exceed $9,480.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Barnsley, motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Barnsley to approve the Tower Works estimate, not to exceed $9,480. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. RFPQ, Mr. Dale Davis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming up.
So first off, I want to say, this is an informational review. You all approved the process to get everything underway, with us at the last meeting. So, you approved the resolution that authorized, myself and Connor Sullivan, your attorney on this project, to draft an RFPQ for the, potential new jail, project. This also includes in it language that allows us to look at a remodel of the existing facility, should that be warranted. There'll definitely be a cost comparison analysis. As you know, working with the jail can be kind of an unruly matter, given that we can't just tell everybody to go home. So the extra layer of what do we do with everybody during the rehabilitation phase would be a very intricate conversation. For those in the audience that don't necessarily know what build, operate, transfer is, it's a statutory process which allows us to work with, as a community, work with the developer who will take essentially the liability for building this project. They will give us a guaranteed maximum price, which is not to be exceeded. There won't be change orders beyond that unless they're directed by the client, by the commissioners. So once you get a price, that is your price. So that is the beauty of the build, operate, transfer. Now, to establish this, we have to go through a RFPQ process to bring in development teams. So constructors, builders, developers, depending on what people's different acumens are, there may be partnerships that present themselves. So what we're presenting to you here is that draft RFPQ. So if you have any questions on that, I would love to walk through them. Excuse me. I have the draft timeline for we're going through accepting these proposals. So one part of going through this state statute is we have to notice this 2 times in the paper of record. So that's really going to be what dictates our next steps. So I have in our timeline to release this to the public, release this to the paper on the 1st, which would mean we're noticing, we're turning it into the paper next week to be noticed the following week. We do have a window that if we can get it in the next 2 days, that we could potentially move that up a week and give the respondents an extra week to respond to us. So we're going to try and do that and give that extra week. That all aims us at having a selection meeting at Shore Commissioners meeting on the 3rd of June. So we'll have 2 notices. We'll get this in the paper. Then we'll have our internal selection. We're establishing in this RFPQ a steering committee that consists of yourself, Mr. Stewart, the sheriff, what's it, Mike from the council? Michael Scott is. And Mr. Sadoff, myself, Mr. Sullivan will be on as non-voting advisors. So once we have that RFPQ come in, then we have to notice again the selection meeting that has to be done in a public hearing. So it doesn't mean it has to be at a standalone public hearing. That could be at your commissioners meeting when you'll be present anyway. So that's the way the schedule is set up to put us to the commissioners. So if there's any questions on the timeline, on the actual document itself, on the thought process, I'm more than happy to answer those.
So explain to us the RFPQ process and what are we into that we agree to follow through with.
So the RFPQ process is basically putting this out for developers to respond to us and say, here's my qualifications, here's what I've done before, here's my financial backing, showing that we're picking somebody that knows what they're doing, has the financial capacity to do it, and is actually going to deliver on what we're asking them to do. So we're asking for a statement of qualifications. We're not asking for a budget. We don't necessarily have a budget established yet. We have a rough scope, knowing that we need to either fully overhaul this facility and add capacity, or we need a brand new facility. Both options are on the table. We'll definitely have to look at that in some detail. But we'll get the team on. We'll go into a scoping period. So we'll enter into a public-private agreement with this selected developer, and there will be a scoping timeline, scoping fee in there. That's really what we're on the hook for to begin with, is the scoping fee. Now, not every developer is going to charge the same scoping fee. Some developers are completely fine being at risk up until we go to construction documents. So it really depends on the team that we select as to how much the outlay would be upfront. But that'll all be negotiated, all be clear, it'll all be in your agreements. There won't be any gray area in there. Lots of times too, developers are willing to go with risk until we would set that guaranteed maximum price. They would just have potentially a breakup fee in there if we got to the guaranteed maximum price and we said, okay, we're not moving forward, then they would want to recoup some of their design fees. But again, it all depends on who we partner with as to how there's a number of ways to structure these, so it depends just who we're working with. Once we go into the scoping period, you can set that guaranteed maximum price at a number of different levels. There's nothing saying you have to set it at full construction documents when you have 100% design. You can set it earlier based on, just have a good set of documents. You'll have floor plans, you'll have layouts, you'll know what you're doing. And then the design will be complete past that. So there's a number of ways to deliver that part too. All keeping in mind, we'll know what our scope is, we'll know what our budget is. Just need to know the team that we're working with, because a lot of teams like to work differently. Once we set the guaranteed maximum price, that's it. We're off to working. If we need to find a site, we'll find a site. If the site is something that is existing, then that takes that step out of the equation. But we will have that all on that guaranteed maximum price stage. If there's any assumptions, we'll know about them. Those assumptions are usually pretty finite things of what do the finishes look like, things that we can easily quantify. After we issue that guaranteed maximum price, then we'll enter construction. For a facility this size, 2-ish years. Again, it depends on construction type, depends on the final configuration. Are we going to shell parts of it? Are we going to do a full build out? There's a lot of variables that would go into that. So hopefully that answers your question.
It does, and so today, we're just more or less receiving information, correct?
Yes.
We've already decided to do this without a number, and the number would come to us before any action is taken.
Yes. And working with your financial advisors, we would determine with the input of the steering committee and the input of all the elected officials represented there, what's appropriate and what can the county really bear. And then all the mechanisms of financing that would go with that, this does not bypass any other financial controls that are there. It doesn't mean that you can just issue debt. If there was a tax need to be passed, it would still have to be passed through the normal process.
So am I understanding it correctly, the steering committee will select the construction company that we're going to go with, and that will be presented?
You will make a recommendation to this board, and this board will select that team.
If I have a member of the council on the committee, we'll take their advice as well.
Sure. Any other questions for Mr. Davis? Connor, you got anything to weigh in on this? Or? Sorry. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Commissioners. No, I think Dale did it pretty sufficiently on the head. Things I just want to kind of make sure we're emphasizing that in order to get that guarantee max price, you have to hit certain statutory requirements. The notice that Dale discussed today, the 2 public notices and the eventual public hearing for that notice are essential to make sure you qualify for that guarantee max price. The review committee that President Stewart has put together of Sheriff Garcia, Councilmember Scott, Justin, Dale, and myself will begin that scoping period after, or start reviewing the proposals. You'll make that recommendation to the commissioners And you guys will make the ultimate decision on what the bot developer, who will be chosen for that. Nothing will bind you guys at any point until you get that guarantee max price. So the next time that the review committee will provide information to you as a body will be after proposals have been received, after they've interviewed developers and have gone through Q&A periods, and they will at that point make that recommendation to you guys in the form of a public hearing. So that, I just want to make sure I emphasize that. RQAW is present too. You guys selected them last time. They will likely be advising you throughout the process too. It's always recommended to have, if you have your design team ahead of time, which is, that's very common. In fact, more often than not, that's how the counties would like to have it, so that the design team is responsible to you throughout the initial period of it. You can always assign their contract once a developer's been selected under the bot developer to limit your liability there. But they will be there and helping you guys through the process too. And RQAW's done probably more BOTs than any design firm. I'm sure they can tell you about it some other time. But I just want to make sure that you guys knew that they were here too, and will be a very helpful resource to the steering committee and review committee going through the process.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
Oh, and yeah, there's no action needed today. The resolution last time took care of all that. Okay.
All right, I think we're good. Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. All right, Mr. Sullivan, you're up again.
Yes, thank you again. A couple of weeks ago, I started working with Justin for a underwriter's placement agreement with Robert W. Baird. The representative is Landon Bain. They are would be an underwriter for either this jail project or another capital project if there would have to be some kind of debt financing. The agreement today is a requirement since Robert W. Baird will be dealing with publicly traded securities or securities that are on the open market for investors. They have to sign something that says that the information they provide you guys is true and accurate as elected officials. As far as I know, none of you three, Justin and Madam Auditor, are registered with SEC to deal with publicly traded securities or public debt. And so that this just says that they per the SEC rules, they will provide you true, accurate information so you can make those informed decisions. It does not create any financial obligation upon Grant County once you execute this agreement. In fact, at any point in time throughout the financing process, you can always change and switch horses if you would like to. If say it's not working out for Robert W. Baird, the only time a financial liability is incurred is if there is a project that's financed at that point in time. It's industry standard. They get a coupon ready at that point in time when they sell your debt to the open market. But again, it's more of a professional CYA for them to make sure that they are following the SEC rules and make sure that you guys are getting information to make, like I said, make those informed decisions. So there's no financial obligation created at this point in time or in the future. If you don't want to work with them after you work with them for a little bit, say this is not the right team for us, you can move forward and go on. Not to advocate more on their behalf, it's more their job, but Robert W. Baird and Landon Bain and his team have probably, I think they underwrite over half municipal debt for counties throughout the state of Indiana, so they're very well versed, well experienced, come highly recommended. I know a few of you interact with them in different capacities and whatnot too. I just want to put that out there as well. So I have that today before you for your guys' approval. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
This is just more of dotting I's and crossing T's for the
That is
their part.
That is correct, President Stewart. You know, being in the banking industry yourself, it is one of the most highly regulated industries up there with local government. This, again, I say this as much professional manner as I can. It's truly a CYA for them to show the SEC that they are providing you fair, accurate, and true information so you can make that any kind of informed decision, since it could involve public funds.
Makes sense.
But you are correct, yes.
And our attorneys again with this.
Connor has.
Yes, I have, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Gentlemen, have any other questions for Mr. Sullivan regarding this?
What we need to do is make a motion to accept this, correct? Correct.
Increase business. That's what I'm going to say, yes. I would do that.
Second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wright, a second by Commissioner Barsley to accept the term agreement for underwriting replacement services with Baird. Any other questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Contract for Grant County Attorney Special Projects, Mr. Sullivan. Anything you would like to speak on?
Yes, just briefly, Commissioners, as you all are aware, there's two contracts between Grant County and myself to advise you on. One was the boiler chiller DOT that we have moved through. The other one was for the jail project. This would just open the scope to more general matters that are assigned by the Grant County Commissioners or the county attorney, Kyle and whoever, or Justin. So that it's one of those things that it just allows, if there's one-off things that you guys need help with, that opens that up. And it does void out the two previous contracts as well, so there's only gonna be one contract. I did that hopefully with some auditors that would manage more contracts than she probably cares to, and she probably has her hands full with all the stuff Grant County has going on. So maybe a little bit more easy on the administrative side too, but I have that today before you guys for your approval. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Gentlemen, as you know, we have been keeping our attorney, Mr. Persinger, extremely busy with some matters. This would just allow Mr. Sullivan to take on some special projects for the county. And again, it gets rid of the other two contracts that we have with you, so. I've reviewed the contract. If you guys have any questions about it, it looks pretty standard to me.
With regard to the build, operate, transfer, we definitely will continue to use his expertise, keeping Kyle busy with the other things. And so when we have other groups, whether it's drainage board or any types of conflict of interest, and we can utilize other attorneys, and this is a great option for us, especially as we're dealing with all the unique situation for the jail. So,
Yep, absolutely.
Any questions, concerns, let me know. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
great. Got a motion in?
With,
I would move to approve the contract for Grant County Special Projects Attorney as presented.
Second.
approval by Commissioner Barsley, second by Commissioner Wright to approve Connor Sullivan as the Grant County Attorney for Special Projects. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Moving on, Salem Bank building discussion. Commissioner Wright.
Yeah, just bringing this up, I think I've mentioned it both of you before, we do have someone that is interested in buying the Salem Bank building. And really just kind of looking for, not a motion or anything like that, but just kind of continue to have dialogue, with the possibility of unloading a building that we have on our books. Right now, that building needs about $3 to $4 billion worth of fixing that we really wouldn't have to spend taxpayer dollars on. And this is they've got the wherewithal to do that and fix it a real nice downtown building. Kind of excited about the whole thing. Can't disclose who that is yet, but hopefully within probably before our next meeting we will be able to do that. But if you two gentlemen agree, I'll continue to have those kind of dialogues with a realtor and just ready to bring something in the form of a proposal maybe to the next meeting or I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great for our community and all those people involved.
I would say continue to move forward on the dialogue.
Enthusiastically recommending for some exciting stuff going on. So, yeah.
And one thing, Mr. Hicks, what we've done is work with this entity and in the contract will probably be something to the effect that we will not be moving central dispatch for a 10-year period, however long it takes us to find a new home. Whether that's in the jail or it's in the building out on Worthaway, wherever that is. But that's kind of what we're dealing with. We're spending about $24,000 a year in total cost over there that we'll be shedding. So it's great for the taxpayers, great for us, and great for the business that we do.
Good. Yeah, I think you have a consensus here that we recommend you enthusiastically move forward.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your work on that. I know you've had a lot of meetings and spent a lot of time on this, so we appreciate it. Ratification of food vendor requests. Justin.
Just a formality here, Chairman. I had asked for permission for various food trucks to be parked out on Courthouse Square every Friday. Just looking for ratification of that. I was given pre-approval on April 4th.
There may be one more added to that.
Okay.
Does that person need to come back at that time? Or are we just making it, how is that?
However you guys want to do that.
That makes sense.
If you want to give some type of blanket authorization, you can do that. Or we can do some.
And I would say if that came in, everything would have to go through Justin.
I agree.
But that way, not everybody would have to keep on coming to us. I want to be sensitive to the downtown restaurants. They've got brick and mortar, they got to pay for and things like that, but every now and then, people really do like something a little different. And I think these food trucks are kind of a neat way to go, and I know a person who is working on that situation right now, and for me, it'd be good.
Remind me, are we talking about multiple food trucks or just one per
One
Saturday,
per
Friday?
One per Friday. If we do have multiple, it'll be like a food and then maybe a dessert truck or something.
I think downtown can handle that if we try and create a lot of competition, then we are going to affect our business.
That's correct.
Not looking for a festival type.
So are you looking for ratification?
Just ratification, permission.
I will support that.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Barnes. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All right. That concludes the new business. We will do about 10, 12 minutes of public comment. I have somewhere I have to be at 12 o'clock. At this time, the public is invited to speak for the board. Please approach the podium. When recognized by the president, state your name and address. Comments should be addressed to the board and be limited to items on the agenda. No complaints, accusations, or name calling regarding personnel will be allowed during this public discussion time. A time limit of 3 minutes will be given. More one person is represented for a group, only one spokesperson will be heard. It is expected that professionalism and courtesy is displayed at all times during the public comments portion of the meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost to election time. We will not be doing any kind of comments on election strategy, campaign financing, anything has to do with the election of my two colleagues. So if anybody would like to speak, we would certainly entertain any public comments, but we are not going to be talking about the election.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. President, this is Dallas Street from outside of Van Buren, attending virtually. Can I provide comment?
Yeah, you can. It's going to be, you got 3 minutes, Dallas.
Understood. Hey, I just have a couple questions. On April 2nd, I made an APRA request for video footage. Mr. Persinger responded back to me and told me that the three of you would have to meet to discuss this video footage and gave me a deadline of May 17th. My response back to him was that this seemed like more of an IT issue than a commissioner's issue. So can you give me a status update on that? And could you maybe commit to getting this to me before May 17th, since it's just video footage and you guys don't have to print anything out?
Mr. Street, I can talk to Mr. Persinger, but if Mr. Persinger's saying that's the date, then that's probably the date.
Understood. I'll
Yeah,
communicate.
we don't, I'm not in the habit of arguing with our legal counsel on their decisions, but I'll certainly talk to him about it.
Understood. And then I just have one more follow-up question along the lines of the APRA request. Commissioner Wright, I am missing some emails from my original request, and Mr. Persinger said he relayed that information to you. Do you have a time frame on when those emails are going to get to me?
I gotta dig through, probably, I think, probably my portion of your, request is probably about 1,000 emails. Sorry,
No, you're good. It sounds like Marion's falling apart. Anyway.
there you go. Yeah, let me see what I can do, Mr. Street, and I will get with my, counsel and have him, get those to you, okay?
Okay, can you give me an approximate timeline on when I can expect feedback?
Let me see what I can do this week.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. I look forward to communicating with you in the future.
Thank you, Dallas.
Okay, bye.
Well, I'm Ryan Howell. I live at 2909 South Francis Street in Marion, Indiana. And thanks for letting me speak at your meeting. I was just wanting to comment on the jail project. I understand that I feel that violent inmates are the ones that should take priority. And, I think it creates poverty and hurts families when you take people out of family and households, put them in jail. And that leads to problems in the long run. And families get destroyed because of it. And a lot of things happen that aren't on paper that contributes to more problems later on down the road. The full makeover of the jail, I'm just a little bit skeptical of that. I mean, I don't think you need a full overhaul of the jail. I don't think you need a full overhaul of the jail that works. I think when a Frazier fix it, it'll probably save us some taxpayer dollars. Here's another one. This goes with the highway department they threw in there. It's like the paint. It could be justifiable. It might not be, but $3,200 for paint a wall. How big is that wall? That should be a question that should be asked. Because $3,200, it might be a doable thing. It might not be. But me as a person in the audience, I'm just skeptical. $3,200 to paint a wall.
I don't think it's for the wall, sir. It's for the offices. When they're going to take the wall out and then they're going to repaint.
Yeah, the wall. Yeah, the wall is like for over $3,000 more, and then paint the wall is just $3,500. What the guy said.
They're painting. They're not just painting one wall. They're painting the entire room.
Oh, okay.
Like an entrance and
The whole wall.
The whole office. Yeah, the whole office space.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to throw in there, and then I want to add a little comment on my own. It's just basically, with the taxpayers being spent, the jail and jail projects and all that, straight government. Because the private sector does it cheaper and better, and when the money's always there. When you have government, you grow the government. It takes money out of our hands, and it just snowballs. And just another thing is
just a few seconds left, sir.
All right, well, I'll just cut through a couple of other ones. I got some positive comments. The sailing bank, private sailing bank. I mean, if that's gonna save us $24,000 a year, I mean, congrats. You know, I mean, that's private sector, that's not government. And I'm a citizen of Marion and Grant County, and I fully recommend you have a private sector come in and take over a government building. And then another good comment I have is the food vendors. Competition is always good. And I'd just like to throw that in there to Mr. Wright. So, all right, thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Al, appreciate it. Got about 7 minutes left.
Morning.
Morning.
Gabriel, Gillsboro. First off, I want to say, I don't see any of our audio equipment, but just in general, the phone audio quality is not great. Back to the meeting we had last Monday for solar. By your own words, it was, and it was supposed to be an informative meeting where, you know, you guys address the public and tell us where we're at on the solar issue. Obviously, we're short on time, like 15 minutes spent trying to fix audio, but wanted to know if you guys had anything to tell the taxpayers where we're at for solar since we didn't have that conversation.
I'll just say something real quick. So Mr. Grindle, each side had, even though we had some audio problems, each side had the same amount of time.
I'm not talking about the
Yeah, we
commissioners,
did.
I'm talking about the commissioners, as far as you guys telling
Yeah.
us what's going on.
And that's what I was getting to, is that, so each side had the same amount of time, plus we had about, I think, 20 minutes of open discussion. The anti-solar group had 15 people come to the podium that night, and not one question to my colleagues. It looked to me that, and not everybody, I'm going to choose my words carefully here. 2 or 3, maybe 4 people looked like they were trying to self-promote themselves, where they were speaking to the group rather than the commissioners. But nobody asked them one question. I was truly stunned by that, because that's why we were, not only them, but that's why we were all there, was to answer any questions that anybody had for solar, against, or pro. And there wasn't one question directed to us. So that's why we were there.
Okay, well, as elected officials, you know, it is good government for you guys to kind of keep us up to date with what's going on. So I know we've got, what,
I don't know
2
that
maybe
there's,
months left?
yeah, I don't know that there's any updates. I mean,
So part of the moratorium was you guys doing a little bit more research, try to, you know,
yeah,
figure out some of the concerns, right?
Yeah, we're listening to concerns, but I mean, we haven't really moved on anything as of right now.
Okay. Is that something I mean, obviously you got work to do, but is that something you can commit to, is like letting constituents know what's going on? Sure. Like the decisions you're making, if you change your mind on something or want to add an amendment or something like that?
When those decisions come along, you folks will be the first to know.
Okay. Well, and you also,
I think it's fair to say too, that discussion will probably happen before the moratorium is over.
Yeah.
It will be brought in and dealt with, so that, you know, we know where we're going as a county.
and then you must have had an assumption of what I wanted to say with your extra part of your opening speech that you usually give. So I know you guys are shining beacons of honesty and integrity, and I'm assuming that you were all very busy taking care of taxpayers, and I'm missing a copy, but I'll give that to you. The email that I had sent 2 weeks ago concerning campaign contributions and whatnot, I never got a response, so just maybe give that a little look over and
Thank you, sir.
let me know if you have any questions.
3 minutes, Mr. Duke, and we are calling a recess, so.
I'm not gonna take 3 minutes. I'm just gonna respond to the comment you just made that you heard no questions. I think I did provide a question when I requested commissioners entertaining a extension to the moratorium to 2025.
That's a statement, I didn't know.
It was a question, okay, and I gave you copies of my comments, so, you know, but a request is in essence a question. So
question stands to you, and I would hope you would all respond to the committee.
Thank you. All right. Our next Board of Commissioners meeting will be Monday, May 6th. We are officially in recess. Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah.